Sunday school teacher, I'm glad that you have taken the time out of your busy schedule to sit down and do some preparation for your teaching Sunday school lesson this coming Sunday. Thank you for all that you do, the important ministry that you have in your church, being an adult Sunday school teacher. So thankful for all that you do. And I know that you're a blessing to your people. I know you're a blessing to your church and a blessing to your pastor as well. Well, we're looking at the Bible study for Sunday, May 27th. The title of the lesson is Finding Strength. Finding Strength. We wrap up our study in 2 Corinthians. We're going to be in chapters 12 and chapters 13 to finish up this study. The point of this lesson is that believers can trust in God's strength when confronted by their weaknesses. We all have weaknesses, all have difficulties, shortcomings, however you want to describe it. We can trust God to be our strength. In this session, Paul shares about a weakness that he endured that kept him humble and trusting in God. He even goes so far as to boast of his difficulties because they kept his faith anchored in the sufficiency of God and not in self. In this study, Paul told of receiving a special revelation from God. He revealed that God had given him a thorn in the flesh to keep him humble. Paul boasted of this weakness that kept him humble and dependent upon God's power. At the end of this letter, Paul focused on his upcoming visit to Corinth, and he hoped to find the Corinthians repentant and obedient to God. So let's look at these verses. Chapter 12, beginning in the last part of verse 7. There he says, "Therefore, so that I would not exalt myself, a thorn in the flesh was given me, a messenger of Satan to torment me, so that I would not exalt myself. Concerning this, I pleaded with the Lord 3 times that it would leave me. But He said, My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is perfected in weakness. Therefore, I will most gladly boast all the more about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may reside in me. So I take pleasure in the weaknesses, in the insults, the hardships, the persecution, and in difficulties, for the sake of Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong." We begin in verse 7. Paul is defending, again, that's part of the purpose for the letter. He was defending his credentials as an apostle. He says in the first part of verse 7 that he had an extraordinary revelation from God. He received a special word from God, just as apostles do. He says there in verse 7 that he was given, so remember this, he got the special revelation, that he had that word from God. He had that relationship with God. There are people that love to throw out names. Well, I had supper with Billy Graham, or I had LeBron James came and we got to drive his car. We love to throw out names of the special people that we know, and we do that really out of pride.